Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are going to be talking about 2026 vacations, what that looks like, what you need to know, tips, and whatever else we can think of. So let's get into it.
Hey there, vacation dreamers. You've landed on Book Solid, the podcast where two travel advisors share insider tips, top destinations, bucket list activities, and everything you need to know to get the most out of your next vacation. We'll cover what's included, what's not, and throw in plenty of real talk and laughs as we help you plan with confidence. Let's jump in.
What do you want
Okay,
to talk about
so
first?
I think because we're in the month of November, it's important to note kind of some of those major deadlines that are coming up, kind
Yeah.
of when is the best time to plan. Obviously, our biggest rule of thumb as travel advisors is as soon as you know you want to travel, book it. As long as you can book that trip, like if you're wanting to do 2027 for Disney World, it's not an option right now. However, you can kickstart that process that way in a couple months when those packages do start to become available. We've already, planned out at least half of it. At least figuring out resorts, whatever. So if you're kind of just trying to go by the seasons, we're in the month of November. Now is the best time to start planning your summer vacations. We're kind of past the time of planning spring break. Those have usually around that time frame. It's usually around like September, kind of August, really September into October is the best time to plan spring break. Whenever your spring break falls in, just kind of having those in the back of your head. In my opinion, other than the theme parks, for cruising, I would say book it out as far as possible because a lot of the cruise lines actually drop those dates a lot sooner than the theme parks. Like the theme parks only can do, 2026 right now. Whereas the cruise lines were already going into 2028. Like some cruise lines are already going into 2028. So if you want to lock in the best price possible, get the best stateroom, all of that, book those very far in advance. I would not wait these deadlines that I just mentioned, I would not wait because the cost of you going on that cruise is going to be significantly higher. So that's kind of like my little caveat. If you're planning for the parks, that's a different story. But cruising, plan it far out in advance. Unless you just want to pay an extra hundred, couple thousand, depending on how close we're talking. And then you risk certain staterooms not being available.
To kind of add to that for timelines, I feel like the closer you are to travel day, the more rushed it might feel
Hmm.
versus that like 6 month window is kind of like a happy medium for the theme parks. The closer you are, it kind of takes away that magic. I feel like I am rushing to get all the knowledge, get my dining. That I like doing it like a slow roll in planning, and about 6 months is a happy kind of starting point. On the flip side, booking so long almost like takes away the magic too, because you're waiting for that 6 months. I have a client who we booked, I think in May for March of next year. And I'm like, hey, this is great. Good job locking in your rate, getting what you wanted on the books. I'll be in touch in about 6 months. Because there's really not a whole lot we can do up until then.
No.
And for me, I want you to retain what information I'm sharing with you. And if I share it too far in advance, then life happens and we forget about it. And it almost drags. I know for like cruises, Brianna said, needing to book it out so far in advance. I'm running a cruise group for our cruise that my sister and I are going on in November of next year. So a whole year away. And I've been doing weekly kind of graphics. What's your favorite candy for Halloween? What's your favorite princess? Just to try to like keep the
Hmm.
magic as we're still a year away. To keep some engagement. So, but booking this far out, like if you know you're going to go in November of next year, you can see what's going on in November of this year and kind of be like, oh, I really want to do Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, or I really want to see the Grinch. So then make notes of that so that way when that time does come up, we can be on it. We can get the tickets as soon as they drop. We can make the reservations for Grinch
Mhm.
as soon as they drop. Our cruise is a very Merry Christmas cruise, so I'm starting to see content for very Merry Christmas cruises, and I'm making notes of, oh, that's
Mhm.
what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So there's pros and cons to booking super close, super far. For most, I would say about 6 months is my happy place.
I will say to kind of like add to that really quick, like if you guys choose to work with a professional travel advisor like ourselves and you book it like super far in advance, don't be alarmed when we don't email you, text you with different updates about whatever's going on. There's not really much planning at that time that you need to do, that either of us need to do, because really it's just going to be a waste of time for both of us involved. We would rather wait until we get closer to some of those major deadlines, like final payment, to really be like, okay, so we're getting close to final payment. Let's talk about travel insurance. Let's talk about what excursions you're going to do. Let's talk about, gratuities on the cruise. Let's talk about park strategies. Like whatever is coming up, we're going to wait until closer when your mind is already thinking, okay, now we're getting down to the major deadlines of this vacation. Now I can start thinking about what do I need to bring? Like all of that. If you try and do it a month in advance, I mean, you can do some planning on your own. Like, don't feel free to reach out to your travel advisor if you have questions. That's what we're here for. Don't assume that we're like, oh no, you can't talk to us until we get closer to those deadlines. No, we're literally there for you. We just don't want to waste your time by sending you emails or texts being like, hey, so today I'm going to teach you about Magic Kingdom. And then you're like, no, it's too early for that. So we might as well just wait until closer. But like if you have questions, reach out to them. They will answer you. If they're
Hmm.
a good travel advisor, they will communicate with you.
Absolutely. What's your next thing? That was a lot in that one.
I know that was a lot. I mean, personally, I would say to work with a professional travel advisor, honestly, because I mean, if you think about it, no matter which destination you are booking, the destination already puts into effect of the payment for the travel advisor. There's no way to remove it. There's no way to call, Walt Disney and be like, hey, I'm not working with a travel advisor, please take that off. Like it's just built into the package. So if you don't work with someone, you are literally just giving Disney even more money that they don't need. It should just go to a professional travel advisor. Even if you know exactly what you want to do, you know your park strategies, you've been to the parks, you know all the things, just attach it to a professional travel advisor, so at least you have someone if you need that person, because it's better to have someone and not need them. You know that saying? That way if any questions come up, at least you have someone on your side who knows the parks, knows all the things, and you're not calling customer service and waiting, I don't know, an hour, because who has time like that anymore? I don't.
But you do because you're a travel advisor.
Well, as a consumer, like booking my own, that's different. I
We
would
are
I
our own worst travel advisors, typically.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Story for another day.
and I think one of the big questions coming from uh, clients and those booking those vacations far in advance is, can you do payment plans? And absolutely. Now, they're not going to be like where we send you a bill every month saying you owe this amount. If you would like a reminder, absolutely, we can send you a reminder every month that says, hey, if you would like to make a payment, here's your monthly reminder.
Hmm.
Um, or I always tell my clients, hey, whenever you want to make a payment, just let me know and I will send you the form that I need you to fill out
Yep.
and we will get a payment made. Um, So, yes, they're not like what you think of payment plans, but you can make a payment whenever. It's not a big deal. And again, sometimes we do have to call it in, and that's our time on the phone, not yours.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean, just as an example, I called in a Disney cruise client today, and because they dropped a new promotion that unless you're a professional travel advisor or just know all the things that are currently going on with all the suppliers, you wouldn't know that there was a new promotion that went out today. And anytime there's any type of new drop, new promotion, whatever. The customer service lines are insanely long. I sat on hold for a good 30 minutes before someone was able to pick up the phone and answer a very quick 2-minute conversation that unfortunately I wasn't able to do like online through a portal. It had to be through the phone. But that's just another example. Like that's 30 minutes that you would have to sacrifice to call and be like, "Hey, I just need to do this one thing." But that's one less thing that you have to worry about. That's 30 minutes that you could be walking your dog, making dinner, hanging out with your kids, whatever.
And speaking of promos, if you book your vacation for next November and a promo does come out and applies to your vacation, because not all of them apply to every room,
Mhm.
then let us do that work for you because we're the ones tracking it. We are
Mhm.
usually the first to know. We know then if your room applies for that promotion, and sometimes we do have to call it in. So let us call it in, and know that we got your back. I think I saved my client like $700 on the last spring one that came out. I think.
Nice.
I think that's what it was. Yeah. For their vacation, and he didn't have to lift a finger. It was like, hey, I saved $700 on your vacation. He's like,
Yeah, and it's not like something we'll text you and be like, "Hey, so do you want to save money on your vacation?" No, we will automatically do it. Like I don't know anybody who doesn't want to save money on their trip. So we will automatically, if it applies to your vacation and you actually save money, we will apply it. Like I've had one in the past where I tried to apply the promotion and it actually would have cost them more because they had booked it so far in advance. When they booked it at that time, it was actually the cheapest it would have ever been. But because Disney tried to throw out a promotion a couple months before travel, obviously the rates had gone up, like a new calendar year had come up, so the prices increased. So I was like, hey, so I tried to apply the promotion, and unfortunately, it does not work because you guys already locked in the lowest price possible. So, congratulations. I still saved you money from the get go.
and at that point too, we can always look at other options. Like maybe there's another option that's with the promo that matches or is similar to the price, and then it's an upgrade
Hmm.
on a room. So we can always look at those options as well.
I think one of the other major things, I know I feel like we do talk about it a lot, but when you're planning, like let's just stick with Walt Disney World because I feel like that's the destination most people like think about when they need someone to help them because it's such a large like vacation spot. Like it's 43 square miles, which I don't think is accurate. I think it's bigger than that. It doesn't seem that big when you put it like that. Anywho's, when you're starting the planning process, especially if you book it, within a couple months of travel, you really only have to choose obviously your dates. You need to know when you're going. And you need to lock in a resort. You can kind of think about park tickets. We can always modify it as long as we're within that, 30-day window of final payment. We can modify park days, but I would at least not like nail down your travel dates and your resort. Obviously, you need to know who's going because I mean, once you get to like a party of 5, then we're talking about more rooms. And so if you're thinking about traveling with a bigger party, once you kind of get past 5 people in the party, then we're going to have to start looking at multiple rooms, and then from there it gets kind of tricky, especially if you modify down the road. Trying to get a connecting room may not work out. It might be a lot more difficult versus trying to just book it all together at once. But at least just knowing at the beginning of the process, you really only need to know the dates and where you're going to stay. From there, we can kind of play around with your park days. Personally, we suggest a minimum of 3 just because there's 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, a shopping complex, among other so many other things. Like 3 days is minimum. And if it's your first visit and only visit, then minimum 4 days. There's no, not even gonna contemplate other options. So just kind of knowing that will make the process a lot easier. You don't have to know all of the resorts. As long as you come, like if you come to a professional travel advisor, they will help narrow down out of the 25 plus resorts at this point. If you tell us what your vibes are, if you are wanting to stay closer to transportation, if you're wanting to be closer to a certain park, if your kids are really big into like Lion King, then we'll know exactly where to put you. As long as you can tell us what you're looking for, we will help narrow down all of those resorts. Like, we don't expect you to be like, all right, tell me about the boardwalk. What do you know about the boardwalk? Like, no, we know all that. And I will say another part to that is to have a realistic budget. I have a lot of people coming to me that they'll say they're a party of five wanting to go to Disney World for a whole week and with like a $2,000 budget. I'm like, no, that will never work out for you. I hate to burst your bubble. I would kind of plan for like give or take $1,000 per person. Kids are a little bit harder to kind of plan around. I would say like 500, like half it. Just kind of keep that in mind, especially when you're talking about like a longer stay, then probably more per person. But I would say, you know, minimum like $1,000 per person. Sometimes we can get it below budget, especially if you stay at the value resorts. Those are going to be your cheapest options to begin with. But if you're wanting to stay closer to transportation, then you might have to stretch your budget. Because the moderate and the deluxe, resorts are going to cost more, but you have a lot more options. I guess as you used to say, like closer to transportation, closer to the parks, more, all the things. So
More amenities.
kind of having a realistic budget. I have so many people that are like, "No, I want to do." I'm like, "That will never work. I'm sorry. I hate to burst your bubble, but unfortunately, prices will only continue to go up.
And
It's
then
not the
to
same
also,
years ago.
you what? Sorry.
That it's not the same as it was like 20 years ago if their parents took them or something. No.
And then too, I try to remind my clients like, hey, this doesn't include food if you didn't include the dining plan. It doesn't include flights. It doesn't include stroller rental. Tips and gratuity, because those add up if you're sitting at. So I try to give a list too of what it doesn't include to kind of give you an idea. Like, hey, we may have hit your like initial budget, but just know that these other things are going to come into play. Transportation to and from the airport
Hmm.
is another big thing. So off the top of my head, current promos that we are already looking at in 2026, Disney World has a spring room promo. Um, Kiddos ages 3 to 9 get a free dining plan with the purchase of an adult dining plan.
With
Uh,
while supplies lasted, this promotion will not last until they sell out. They'll sell out.
I am, yes, that is in the fine print. So I am truly curious to see how long that is going to last. Right now it says all of 20, it's marketed for all of 2026, but the fine print very much says while supplies last. So I am really curious how long that's
Mhm.
going to go. Trying to think if there's any more for Disney World right now. Disney Cruise Line has the 50% off your deposit right now with, and then Disney Cruise Line also just came out today. If you have a placeholder, there are select sailings where you can get 20 to 25% off with that placeholder. Disneyland has some still for December. They don't have any for January yet, but 20% off at Disneyland resorts. Um, Disney's Alani has discounts 25% off on stays 5 nights or more going into spring. Disney Visa card holder promos, and then Universal still has some for the end of this year, 30% off flexible rates with a 5 night stay or longer. And then into next beginning of next year, bundle and save up to $200 on your hotel and ticket packages. Now, all of those could change without notice,
Mhm.
are subject to availability and the specific terms of the supplier and the promo itself. So keeping that in mind. But there's a handful. I mean, and they always come out with more. Like we had no idea this placeholder one was coming out for Disney Cruise Line today, which then tells me that those ships are not filling up. They're trying to get people in the door.
Mhm.
So, and of course my sailing isn't on it.
But yeah, naturally.
It like ends right before. I was like, really? Really? So 2026 is right around the corner. And you know what? Right around the corner is the holidays. And if you celebrate Christmas or gift giving during this time, a vacation and memories are a great gift.
Mhm.
Experiences. We much prefer to give those to our kids than things. at this point.
Mhm.
So it is an investment though, too. So knowing that, but open up the gift of the vacation. Um,
And even
is a
then,
great
like,
idea.
if you just decide to do it that way and gift someone for Christmas, say vacation, whatever, it's actually not that expensive. It varies depending on the destination. Like Disney is always going to be a $200 deposit. Universal is $50 per person. Disney Cruise Line, depending on if you still book within the window, between a 5 to 10% of the full price for your deposit. Some of the other cruise lines are, about 20% of the total cruise fare. So it's not like it costs an arm and leg. Like you're not having to fork out, thousands of dollars initially just to put it under the tree like Merry Christmas. No, you can do it within a couple $100 depending on what you want to do with your vacation.
And we did that a few years ago. We gave it to them for Christmas and then we sailed in February. So there
Gotcha.
was a little bit of gap, but then it gave them those month and a half to get excited about it and to kind of help everybody then prep.
Hmm.
We've also done it to where we woke up one morning and said, okay, we're going to the airport. That was hard.
Yeah.
That was hard to keep that secret. So, moral of the story, booking early is best. 2026 is completely open. There are no, everything is open. 2026. You're going to lock in your rate. You can make payment plans. We can apply promos. And it gives you time to plan and save. Just locking it in, like Brianna said, with the deposits. So if you are looking for support and somebody to work with on your next vacation, 2026 or beyond, Brianna and I would love to work with you. Our links are in the descriptions and everything everywhere. Reach out and we can talk and we'll see where we can go in 2026, where you can go, because we will get you there. Follow us on all the socials: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We have our personal accounts on TikTok. If you're more of a TikTok person, you can find us over there. Next week, we might have something special, or it might be the next week. But we kind of have a special episode coming up that I'm kind of excited about. So we hope you stay tuned, be on the lookout for it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
That's it for this episode, Vacation Dreamers. We hope you picked up some tips, ideas, and a little extra magic for your next adventure. If you enjoyed hanging out with us, be sure to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for even more travel tips and updates. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep planning, and we'll see you real soon.